An AEW star was injured during the Blood and Guts match. Joey Ryan has been dismissed from a job at Disneyland. And a popular AEW star has turned heel, oh no, on Dynamite. Find out who it is in a bit. So going straight into it, I've not had a chance to watch the full show back, but what I've caught so far has been great. But in the Blood and Guts match itself, Santana picked up a rather nasty injury, didn't he?
He did indeed. So yeah, he came into the match, all guns are blazing, tries to hit a uranagi, and unfortunately just full on, like, it seems as though he puts all of the weight on his leg going down. It seems to crumple.
It's like the angle was wrong or something, but the way he lands, you see his kind of knee fold and his leg just fold under it. It wasn't very nice, but he spent a lot of time after that kind of getting up at ringside and trying to help, and eventually it ends up with him just lying there talking to medical officials and eventually being helped to the back at the end of the match, which, it's not great, and especially at the moment there seems to be a lot of injuries going around, but it's not the type of injury you're expecting coming out of a match like that, right?
No, exactly. It's such a shame for a multitude of reasons, right? One, because obviously, as you were saying, there's a lot of injury in AEW at the moment, and it just seems to keep piling up and up and up, one on top of each other. And also, this is supposed to be like the big blow-off match for both factions, right? This is the huge ending of everything, and it's such a shame for something like this to happen at such a pivotal moment in the storyline too.
But it's something where, hopefully it's not going to be anything too serious. There's been nothing revealed about it so far, which isn't exactly out of the ordinary. AEW isn't really a company that tends to, unless they have to.
Yeah, of course.
I think Tony Khan came forward fairly recently himself, didn't he? Said unless it really impacts storylines, they don't really report on what injuries are and how long people are going to be out for. So hopefully it is just something minor, but we are sending all of our best wishes Santana's way, because it did not look very nice at all.
It didn't, bless him. And I think now sort of that thankfully this feud is done with. Though this was the best match. I think this was the best match, out of all of them that they've had so far. I'm hoping now that hopefully Santana and Ortiz, when Santana's feeling 100% again, can just go back into the tag title scene again.
Just tear it up, because I miss it. I just want it back. Moving over now to a report from the LA Times concerning disgraced former wrestler Joey Ryan. Images had been appearing online fairly recently of him working at Disneyland, and it's all kind of spiraled into this report and the news that's coming out at the moment. The LA Times report said a former professional wrestler who's been accused by several women of sexual misconduct worked briefly on the Jungle Cruise attraction at Disneyland before he was recently dismissed, park officials said Wednesday. Joseph Meehan, known in the wrestling world as Joey Ryan, worked for the theme park for about 3 months in probationary status until Disneyland declined to hire him as a full-time employee, according to Disneyland officials. Mr. Meehan is no longer employed by us, a Disneyland spokesperson said, declining to elaborate on why he was not given a permanent job and whether the harassment allegations played a role in that decision. The theme park screening process for potential employees includes a criminal background check, but Disneyland officials said the check did not alert them about the harassment accusations against Meehan under his stage name of Joey Ryan that appeared in social media posts, wrestling fan sites, and sports blogs in recent years. I don't really want to spend too much more time on this news. It was only a matter of time, I guess, working in a public setting like that until something would come out, especially with all of the allegations that were levied against him. And I feel that, the fact Disneyland didn't find anything, but there's not really been any confirmation regarding why he was dismissed, whether it was just the end of the probationary period or maybe whether they were alerted to this. I guess we may know more soon, but Moving on now back to AEW, and the TNT Championship is set to be defended next week. What's going on?
Oh, it's going to be
What's going on?
Scorpio Sky. So Scorpio Sky is going to defend the TNT Championship against Wardlow next week on the July 6th episode of Dynamite. However, Sam, the stipulation is going to be a street fight. And this gets me slightly worried for Wardlow.
And this gets me slightly hard.
Well, I mean, both ways.
It gets you worried for Wardlow.
I guess, both
ways. Street fight allows for... a numbers advantage, shall we say? It allows for a lot of shenanigans. It allows for, maybe Wardlow's going to have some backup of his own. Maybe Wardlow's just going to have to wear a big iron set of street clothes. Because, you have to wear a vest and jeans.
That's just his muscles anyway. His muscles are just his armor. Now, I think that this could go either one of two ways, right? I think this could be... a huge moment for Wardlow, who overcomes the odds with American Top Team and just absolutely obliterates every single member and finally picks up the belt. Or perhaps we see MJF somehow getting involved to screw Wardlow out of the title.
I think that might be maybe just a little bit, probably going to happen. I don't think MJF forgets.
No, exactly right. Now,
he's not just going to let Wardlow just sort of saunter off. This is going to be a lingering thing. As much as he can ruin his fun, he's going to do it.
But I guess the thing is, right, if you want MJF to come back, you want it to be in like a really impactful way at the same time, right? So maybe he comes back here, or maybe he comes back in some sort of AEW title match type thing to screw someone out of the belt there, maybe ruin stuff for Tony Khan's plans and whatever. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be nice to see it because, Wardlow's just been, he's been getting better and better and better as time's gone on. And I think he really deserves a huge title shot like this, and hopefully bring a little bit of prestige back to the belt too.
It just is a little too soon for MJF, isn't it?
I think so. Oh, Tony, what you doing?
Wardlow can't just run through him. This is going to be an interesting watch.
It is.
It's going to be a really interesting watch. I don't know how it's going to end, but as you said, maybe he can restore some prestige to the title.
Not that Scorpio Sky hasn't been doing
that, but according to Miro, the longest or second longest reigning TNT champion to date, speaking with What Culture Wrestling, he said that he feels the title has gone to S-word. He said, it's the man that creates the title, not the title that creates the man. Everything I did with the title was the fruits of my labor. The title didn't come with all of this heaviness. I mean, it came from Darby Allin, which is a great competitor, but we're such different people, such a different style. I take a fault of maybe being too good of a champion, because ever since I lost the title, that title has gone to S-word. And it's nothing but to blame Sammy Guevara for that. And then he finished with, so he's got to bear the cross for that.
Wow.
Not mincing his words there.
No,
not at all.
Do you know, and part of me kind of agrees with him a little bit. Not that Sammy didn't have great matches with the championship belt. I guess it's just like the meat on the bone, right? I think when you've got that title, I feel as though the title should mean sort of everything in these kind of storylines, especially if you want to elevate.
It should be the most important thing. If you're a championship level wrestler and you're on a wrestling show, it should be the most important thing to you. Your belt. Yeah.
And now I guess the worry as well is with Miro kind of saying, AEW title's gone to SH1T. Now that we've included the All Atlantic Championship into the fold as well, there is, I guess, worry for both perhaps wrestlers and us as fans too, that maybe one of these belts could potentially get pushed to the wayside a little bit to make room for another one.
I think that you can make room for it. It just means that the TNT title will have to be treated more like what it is. It's named after a TV channel. Treat it like a TV championship, and have it, the thing is, you can't really cheapen it and have it defended every single week. But I think when it gets to a point where you have a roster so big that not everybody's making the pay-per-views and not everybody's going to be able to have featured storylines, having a TV championship's a good way of sort of making gentle new stars that you can then slowly introduce into the sort of pay-per-view sphere. I don't know, but I think, Guevara was onto something, and then the audience started to sour with the whole Ty Conti thing. And I think it's probably maybe not the last time we'll see Miro with it, but you've got to think Miro's going to be, just absolutely dominating that All-Atlantic at some point.
Oh, I think, do you know what? I really wanted him to win that match, but I think he's a shoo-in for it down the line at least anyway. Yeah. And absolutely just go on a tear too.
Yeah. But one last bit of news from last night's Dynamite, and it's a bit... It's just a bit of a horrible one. It's just, I don't know how we can even report it. It's like just sit down, get a nice warm cup of milk, put some gentle background music on, and get in your introspection chair. Luchasaurus has turned heel.
Why have you done this?
Luchasaurus has turned heel and aligned with Christian Cage after what Christian Cage said to Jungle Boy,
and continued to say this week.
He went off, and then it was like, what was it? He was essentially like, well, it's not just going to be me, and then out he comes to wrestle Serpentico. He has an entirely new entrance, an entirely new look. He's still Luchasaurus, but he's in all black, and he comes down and dominated Serpentico.
And also he locks in like a modified snare trap. Obviously, the snare trap being one of Jungle Boy's finishing moves, but he does the snare trap with the legs, and then gets the nerve hold in there as well, and it's like, ooh boy, this is going to be a personal one.
It's everything I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah, me too.
I would never have guessed in a million years. I genuinely, I didn't think we were going to see this at any point soon.
I didn't think we were going to see such a ruthless heel Christian Cage either.
Ruthless heel Christian Cage, which is kind of reinvigorating him, which is quite good because we sort of need it.
Agreed.
And then now we have all new Luchasaurus.
And he looks good.
Luchasaurus Dark. And it's, oh my.
And I think like, obviously the stature of the man and his demeanor and everything. He's a dinosaur for God's sake. Oh my god! I think kind of like the heel dominant persona works for him very well. So I'm excited to see how this develops.
It's going to be a main event feud, isn't it? It's the type of thing that could, if they build to it, it won't even need a belt. You could build to that to headline a show after the world title's gone on.
I mean, that elevates both obviously Jungle Boy as well.
Oh yeah,
as like a huge single star.
Not saying anything bad about Jungle Boy, but everybody always needs that little bit of freshening and elevation. Everybody loves Jungle Boy. Everybody loves Luchasaurus. It makes sense to maybe just turn them against each other and see what happens.
And obviously they've been a tag team for a long time as well. They know each other so well, so you know that they're at least going to get really good matches out of each other as well.
I wonder when the sort of plans for this started formulating as well, because obviously, we had the Marco Stunt situation with Marco Stunt leaving, and then it was like, are we really going to get, is it just going to be a tag team? Is he going to come back? And I think now where we've got this, it's going to be a whole new dynamic.
Yes.
For both of them in front of an AEW audience.
Agreed.
Right? I think that it's good, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. Ooh. Please don't murder him, Luchasaurus, please. He's just got glorious hair.
He's a little boy.
We'll be back in a little bit with some more lovely wrestling news. You got anything you want to be plugging there, Andrew?
No, we've got a WWE 2K playthrough doing tomorrow of the Money in the Bank ladder match, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which will be very good. We've also got, we will have today, myself and Tom doing predictions for Money in the Bank as well. What about yourself?
I'll be doing Marble Mania later, hopefully at the usual time, but I'm on podcast today and I feel like my face is going to melt off through the time-space continuum, so I may be a little bit late, but I'll keep you all posted. It'll be over at twitch.tv/Cultaholic. You don't know what Marble Mania is?
Get on it.
Get on it. Get on it. Bye.